This podcast is brought to you today by Live Atom. Live Atom is a Rochester-based business that helps other businesses grow online by generating more leads. You can find out more about them by heading to their website at liveatom.com. That's liveatom.com. I'm Amanda Leitner, and welcome to Rochester Rising, where we amplify the stories of Rochester entrepreneurs. Welcome to episode 147 of the podcast today. Today on the show, we listen into the latest From the Edge podcast series within our regular podcast, talking trends in entrepreneurship with local small business owners. So today on the podcast, we're joined by Tiffany, the owner of TerraLoco, which is a run specialty and active lifestyle shop on 16th Street Southwest. And we're also joined by Traci Downs. Traci is a neuroscientist by training. She's the co-owner of Café and the executive director of the Collider Foundation. So today on the show, we talk a lot about collaborations and emerging opportunities we're seeing in the local business community here in Rochester. We talk about collaborations between nonprofits and the service industries, and a lot about the $5 5Ks with TerraLoco. We talk about the value of finding collaborations outside of your normal working environment that can sometimes foster unexpected connections and collisions due to close proximity. We also chat about the value of community and personal one-on-one connections and the importance of feeling like you belong in the community. We also chat about the growing business momentum in Rochester, especially the developments of new pitch competitions and business education, especially for students in our younger generation. We talk about reframing failure and the value of not building a startup alone. You're in for a great chat today on our podcast. So now on to the show with Tiffany and Traci. Well, thanks for being here today for our From the Edge podcast, and I'll let you two ladies introduce yourselves.
My name is Tiffany. I am the owner of TerraLoco. We're a run specialty and active lifestyle shop located over by Trader Joe's on 16th Street.
Wonderful. I'm Traci Downs. I am a neuroscientist, but also a co-owner of Café and executive director of Collider Foundation.
So we're here talking about trends in entrepreneurship that we're seeing and experiencing, whether in Rochester or kind of on a larger scale. So it sounded like we had some good topics to chat about today. So I'll let Tiffany launch us or start us off.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, so I was thinking about collaborations. I was thinking about all of the great opportunities that a lot of businesses in town are, partnering, collaborating on things. For example, thinking about the Med City Beat beer with, what was it? Is it Little Thistle?
Little Thistle, yeah.
The Landing, another organization that we work with. They just did the new coffee with. Not with you guys, but with...
Oh, it might have been Trail Creek.
Anyway,
I think it's Trail Creek.
Yeah, but we now have just opened a coffee shop in Thesis at the Thesis.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Project.
See there, that's a perfect example. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I think there's more and more collaborations that are happening within Rochester. We moved here about 6 years ago, and Rochester felt a little more siloed. And I think that's one of the big a trend I can see as well for the city is that more and more people are bumping into each other, taking and making kind of random connections. That water cooler effect that happens, and different bubbles get popped, and all of a sudden, you have a coffee shop and a beer, in a tap house, or you have two companies that are not didn't know about each other, but now they have things that they can leverage from each other. So
yeah, right.
That makes it a very exciting place to be.
Yeah, I was just actually, after we had 1 million cups this morning, I was talking about, a collaboration to make a coffee, and with somebody who already does the roasting and, has the marketing channels, because it's like, our business doesn't want to make coffee, but we have a product for, that can go into coffee. So it's like, why would you do that? Why would you, go outside of your area of expertise and not partner with someone with similar values as you to, get that onto the market? It just seems like the smarter thing to do. And I think, like we were talking about, this is a smaller community, so I think it's a lot easier to connect with those people who have the same values as you and are kind of operating in that same sphere, that you can get a better product out to people who want it, I think.
Right. Well, and even the people that become like cappers, who this morning we heard in 1 Million Cups, they are a small micro dairy. They service a lot of the coffee shops and other food co-op in town, and are growing. But as with a Café Steam focus, for put that hat on, we've been using their milk for 5 years, and there's going to be new products that can start coming out of things. So it's like taking your service providers, and it can become the next new product of something that comes out when you start collaborating across industries.
Yeah. And I think too, like I see a lot of collaborations with nonprofits or other like service industries, or just, like for us, we're doing a sponsored movie with Grey Duck Theater. Obviously, we don't have anything to do with, we sell shoes and apparel and stuff. We obviously don't sell movies or anything like that. But, just like finding that partner out there that can bring something to the table, provide something different and unique for our customers,
Well, and as more and more people are moving into Rochester and starting new startups or continuing family businesses, the density is getting to the point where everyone wants to have fun things to do, and you can kind of start putting together unmatched things and really explode. We have a number of technology companies that have been coming to the Discovery Square area, and they are coming with all their ideas of what can be added to the community and what partnerships that they can start leveraging. So I think it's kind of collaboration on steroids as we grow, and that's an exciting thing, because then new things happen. And I think the density of people and excitement, especially downtown, has been really exciting. And like with TerraLoco, you can take and be doing things with Grey Duck downtown. We can be doing things outside of the downtown area, and it's an exciting time.
Yeah, I see that working two ways too. Like with Café Steam, when you're bringing or partnering with new businesses like Thesis Brewery or something like that to bring like a brand new product forward, or like what you're doing, Tiffany, when you're partnering with like Grey Duck or partnering with nonprofits who otherwise may not get that visibility, with your $5 5Ks. And I'm not sure how many you have during the year, but it seems like a bit.
So we do those. So we do a $5 5K every Monday at 6 from March through October.
So a lot.
So pretty much every week except for a handful of holidays. And so each week we partner with a different charity. And then that $5 that the people donate when they come in goes directly to that charity. And one of the things that we found is that, it's not necessarily always about the money, the $5. It is that, that awareness building, the social, aspect of everything, and just sort of getting that charity in front of, a bunch of people that are like-minded and sharing their story and what they're looking for. We've had lots of examples where, somebody says, oh, we're looking for volunteers to help with X, Y, or Z. And then, after the 5K, somebody goes up to the charity and says, oh, I'd like to help with that, and it's just, it's just another way to get, in front of people. And so it's been a really successful, program for us. But I think has also been really successful for all the charities as well, too, that we partner with.
When people do something actively with an organization, then it becomes they have some ownership. They feel invested in it.
Exactly.
And I think that makes great connections. If you can sweat together, then you can really, then you're going to be committed if you weren't already.
Yeah. And it's fun, too. It's like no pressure, right? Some people run, some people walk.
Oh, yeah.
And so can I bring my dog to a $5 5K?
Yes,
just don't bring him to the store.
Yes. So nope, he can come into the store. Yep. As long as they're leashed, vaccinated, well behaved. Yep.
Nice.
Okay,
yep, that's great.
That's good to know. Yeah, they need to be active.
Yeah.
So they like to run. Though, I don't think my smallest one could make 3 miles. He gets so I have like a 2-year-old and a 10-year-old one, and the 10-year-old one knows like we're going for like a while, and the little one just like takes off and then gets tired.
That is really funny.
But
so one of the things I was just thinking about in this collaboration theme, and dogs too. Now I need to take and go on this 5K and go to the patio at Café Steam when Disa says dog friendly. So now I'm thinking a circuit going here that we need to do. But at the same time, I'm thinking of Collider and the co-working space here. Sometimes just taking and being out of your normal environment, or taking and putting your business in a space where there's other people. We've had similarly a lot of people that they're either freelancers or they have a small startup and are sitting next to somebody who has a related or sometimes unrelated company, and then those people turn into creating a new company or a new business. And so I think that bumping in, even whether it's at a 5K or it's at a co-working space, can really change the trajectory of where people go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that happens a lot, and it might be happening like where you are now. Now you have TerraLoco, you have Fig and Hot Chip, and that's really filling Trader Joe's. You know, it's really filling
it's a
up.
busy, busy corner.
We're looking forward to doing some things with Fig. We've kind of shared some ideas, but yeah, we're definitely going to be doing some things with them. And that's, again, another really good example of, an unrelated business in some ways, right? Health and wellness and nutrition and all those things are related, but, just like, we want to focus a little bit more on that nutrition, on that whole health aspect of things. And we've been lacking a little bit on the nutrition side. So just being able to have, somebody right next door who can, teach skills, cooking skills, and you can actually do it hands-on. It'll be a really cool, I'm looking forward to the things that we can do with them.
Yeah, that's exciting. Because food's so important for running. Yeah. And have you ever, well, I guess you wouldn't call it red, but used the Shalane Flanagan's Run Fast, Eat Slow cookbooks?
I have not, but a lot of our customers swear by it.
It's so simple. Like, that's the biggest thing with eating healthy. Like, you get this whole big list of all these like really weird ingredients, and it takes forever.
Right.
And it's just very simple. Like, I love it. I have it at home, use it every week. But I think I could see some great collaborations there between like cooking classes for runners and like high protein meals or things like that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's really cool.
It's that's definitely a blossoming area right now. In my opinion, that's 16th Street. A large part of like what you're doing and what we're doing here with entrepreneurship, and I always think about like the importance of community and the running community. I think that's huge for a lot of people, especially here in Rochester. When you're moving to an area you might not know anybody, that community turns into a second family.
Yeah.
And I think, you guys have certainly been instrumental in helping to build that locally, because I think it existed, but it wasn't quite like centralized, I would say. And that's just so important. And I know there are a lot of even Facebook groups with the Southeast Minnesota Trail Runners and your group, and there's probably some Team Red,
Rochester Track Club,
yes,
Chatty Chicks,
I didn't know about that one.
They call themselves a loosely organized group of runners, and they just have a Facebook group, and they just say, hey, we're going to meet here at this time for X amount of miles, and then people just show up and run with them. They're super welcoming and open, which is nice.
Do you think that the number of groups have increased over the last few years? Has there always been this much
running groups?
Yeah, and activities around this.
Honestly, like. Team Red, Track Club, Chatty Chicks, Southeast Minnesota Trail Runners, they've all been around for a while.
That's good. I wonder if their groups have grown, or have you seen more people joining them or not?
I think numbers are growing for sure. And I think it's just more. I think there's more people running, more people doing, just trying to be active, and we always try to talk about forward motion, as opposed to like running specifically, because a lot of people just get really intimidated by running, or they're just like, nah, it's, I only run if I'm getting chased by a bear or whatever it is. Right. So I always tell at the 5K, I tell people like, whatever distance you want to do and however you want to do it, as long as you're moving forward, that is good with us, and we'll support you in whatever you're doing. So it doesn't have to be runners. We have plenty of walkers. We have people on bikes, kids on, getting pushed in strollers, lots of things at the 5K, just always trying to encourage that forward motion, whatever it looks like.
That's awesome. That's exciting.
Yeah. I remember reading this book when I first got started ultra running called Relentless Forward Progress. And I think like with everything, whether it's running or like physically running or running a business, it's like, just keep moving forward. Let's not start moving vertically or horizontally, I guess.
Right. Exactly.
Forward. Right. With, precision and, focus, just keep moving forward.
Right.
So,
and when you have a setback or something doesn't go quite right, it's not the end. It's just, you just have to take what you've got and keep moving.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think that's a huge correlation between like the running community and the business community is that you have to have some kind of personal connection, and it can be so valuable, like with the collaboration aspect too, having a place you can be or having some kind of point of physical connection with somebody, whether it's a coffee shop, a co-working space, running store, it just really adds a lot of personal connectivity to something bigger. And, we talk about, how do you get people to stay here? Well, you get people to stay in Rochester from wanting to belong or feeling like they belong in the community. And these things are so important, whether you're building a business or just, and for your personal well-being too.
Right. Well, and when you have a community, you have support. You have somebody to celebrate with. You have people to commiserate with when things aren't right. You can learn from other people's mistakes. It's everything. We're social beings, and being part of a community is really what makes it a happy place to be and a happy place to live. I know when we moved here, that was one of the most amazing parts of Rochester. Especially for a town this size, it's a very welcoming place full of really amazing people, and that's why that's why you stay. So I think that's very cool.
And you're relatively new to Rochester as well too, right?
It's been 12 years at this point,
okay.
But I was gone for a few years and then moved back about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I've been here since I was in first grade, second grade. So for me, it's a little different, compared to people that are coming into the town. So it's always interesting to hear, that perspective from somebody new. To the area. So
yeah. I think like when I was first moving back here in 2016, though, I feel like that was a huge inflection point. Yeah. Like whether it was just me, but those 3 years I was not here, like everything just, I feel like changed. Like TerraLoco wasn't here.
Yeah, we opened in 2012.
2012. Okay, so that's about when I was leaving.
And then but I took over the store in 2015.
That's right. And Café Steam wasn't here
2015,
until 2015.
Yeah, January.
So I don't know what it. So did both of you kind of see a difference in the small business community before and prior, or what are your thoughts?
I definitely have seen that small business and that kind of local, shopping local, the focus on local, really increase in the last 3 years, probably. So I mean, and that's what I think is cool about what we're talking about here, the collaborations, there are a lot of local businesses in Rochester, and I think it's great to see more people really focusing on that local aspect and really like making decisions about what they're going to support and where they're going to shop. And, because let's face it, like there's Starbucks on every corner, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But they make the decision to go to Café Steam because you've created that community, because we have, as a small business, we have the capacity to be able to give back in ways that, a Starbucks or whoever can't. Right. And so I think it's great to see people actually like really, making those decisions, because they know that we can do more for the community,
and we care about the community.
Right.
So
exactly.
we want to be part of it. So they're giving back to themselves, everything that we are trying to create. I think I agree. In the last few years, the momentum, and that's kind of the trend that I would point out, is just the momentum of what's happening in Rochester. I think is just growing and has gone from some ideas of where the city wanted to go to what is happening now, where the snowball is kind of formed and is starting to tip, and more things are happening. I think the number of events, for example, or the things that you can do within the city. It used to be you could, you have a busy schedule, but you could do everything, one at a time. And now, given any given weekend, you couldn't do all the things that there are to do. They're overlapping, and you have to. It's like a conference that has multiple tracks, and you have to kind of pick which ones you're going to do. So that makes it a vibrant. That's vibrancy, and I think we're really, in all aspects, are really growing in Rochester. It's kind of tipping.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because Rochester Rising creates this roadmap to the Rochester entrepreneurial community every year and updates it. And when I sat down a few days ago to update it for this, next year, it's like, I don't know how much has changed. I got to dedicated groups and stuff, and most of them were gone at this point. There were some new ones that came out, but it was kind of slim. But the part that really hugely fleshed out were venture competitions, any kind of pitch competition, and business education. There's been just so much over the past year with the Assistive Tech Challenge the DMC does to create new ideas for people with assistive challenges that need that have some kind of physical limitations that help with that. You have the Mayo Clinic's Walleye Tank Business Pitch Competition. We have Ignite Cup and Red Wing that does all kinds of, from agriculture to robotics. I remember last year I went and they had a robot that chased geese. It's like, we need that.
Yes, right.
So they made a robot that chased geese. I think it was for a country club, or maybe it was someone's private home. I don't remember, but they built it. And then with education, we have, SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, SCORE, mentors. But then we have Incubator EDU right here for high school kids, Technovation for young girls to code mobile apps. There were some more that I can't recall at the moment, but a lot for younger kids. And we talk about, generational changes in getting people on an entrepreneurial mindset or a small business mindset. And maybe I think we might be getting a lot closer. We have a lot of education. Now it'd be interesting to see what happens the next 2 years or so with that.
Right. Well, you can't take and have an entrepreneurial ecosystem, a mature one, until you have all these younger or new the education programs come to fruition where they teach people how to do these things, because there's lots of it's like maker spaces. I think there's been a need for a really good maker space in Rochester, but I've always been for a number of years kind of hesitant to say, if you built it, would they come? Because is there enough people that actually have all the know-how that they need? So but with all this education happening, now you do. Now you have people who can see how to do things, can learn how to do things. Now you create something. Now there's maybe some momentum to have it filled up. So I think it's essential to make a robust ecosystem. Yeah,
and I think it helps with how do I want to say it, exposing people to risk taking and kind of reframing failure. Because I think, one of the things, we've talked about this a lot on this particular series in the podcast, is that in the Midwest we're not always very direct, especially with business, and just helping, even from a young age, socialize kids to the idea that, feedback's not always positive. Feedback can be negative, but that's a good thing. Right. Because that stops you from pursuing something that might not work. Doesn't mean it will not work, but,
But think twice, but think more deeply maybe on it.
But, we both come from science backgrounds.
We do.
And you get a lot of feedback.
You get a lot of feedback, and you get a lot of failure is inherent in the system. You're, not everything you do is going to, or do you expect it to succeed? But you keep moving forward because there's an answer to be found. So I think we do, as risk aversion is something that's typical of this, at least part of the country, I think, or maybe it's just people in general. But in order to succeed, I think you have to learn that failure is part of the process. You have to fail. So it's like just a plan that there's going to be failures, and you're going to learn from those, and then you're going to really have your big success. It's like what you read about all the time. Those overnight successes usually take about 10 years in the making.
Right.
No, that's 100%. I agree with everything you just said there. I mean, I think back to, even so before I took over the store, I mean, I don't have any business background. You know, I don't have a business degree. I mean, I was just really kind of like, well, let's just we'll figure it out as we go along, you know.
Awesome.
But you know, I've really like over the last couple of years, I've really gotten to the point now where it's like, you know, if something goes wrong, it's like I used to be the kind of person that would really freak out about like you know, something that went wrong. I would stress about it. I'd just be so anxious. You know, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And now people are like, what happened to you? You know, but it's like, you know,
You'll be fine.
It happened.
Yes.
You know, what can I learn from this mistake or this error that I made or whatever, you know, and there's nothing I can go do to go back and fix it now. So let's just learn from that and apply those lessons to, you know, the next thing. I mean, you know, it doesn't hurt to try, you know, you have to try to see if it's going to work. So,
well, and that's what makes you an expert in something. I mean, experts are really just people who have tried a lot of things. Some of them work, some of them didn't, and now know what works.
Exactly.
And so you have to go through that process to become an expert in what your field is.
Yeah.
And then the goal becomes to take, and how do you help others not have to do those mistakes? They can do their own set of mistakes, but they don't have to do the same mistakes you made over again. Because there's a million mistakes to be made. So there's plenty to go around for everybody, you know. And so helping everybody, maximizes is again also why collaborations are so wonderful, and communities are so helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that goes back to that, why the community is so valuable, because you learn from these mistakes. And I think one thing, I think we're getting better at it in this community, but I'm not sure, is going out and talking about your idea and asking people for advice. Yeah. Because it can save you weeks, if not months, of like, even if it's not like avoiding a mistake, it's finding the information that you need to move, whether it's, you know, regulatory or financial, if it's something with bookkeeping or taxes or something, you know, like that could, first of all, land you in a heap of trouble if it's not right, or not done correctly, but just saves you so much time and something that nobody really wants to be focusing on.
Well, somebody does, and then you can let those people who really want to focus on it, and you can focus on the other things.
But yeah, like regulatory stuff, nobody really usually wants to do that kind of stuff. So just talking about it and asking people, you know, like I said, I think we're getting better about talking about our ideas, but like entrepreneurship business doesn't happen in like a nutshell. I'm sure you had lots of advisors for TerraLoco, and, you know, certainly had a lot of people that I bounce ideas off of, and they'll tell me that it's not a good idea, or pursue this one, or try it out. It might work, it might not, you know, but you need that, or else it's like, I don't know. We don't do any of this stuff alone. I think that's the bottom line.
No. And they say it takes a village to raise a child. It also takes a community to raise a startup, or to raise a person from where they are to where they want to be. So
I think that'll be the cool part with Incubator EDU. Like, I'm excited to see what the students come up with.
Oh yeah.
Because like juniors and seniors are pretty advanced. I mean, I'm really excited. I just hopefully we'll get to do some volunteering there this year. But I don't know. I think it'll just be really exciting to see what that adds to the community, and how it can engage the community. Hopefully, you know, we
can support our youth.
Yeah, and I think as small business owners, you always try and get more visibility for that community. So I think that'll help. You know,
it will.
And that's something definitely I've seen in the last, you know, probably 2 years, is a lot more of the schools. And I mean, this is like a perfect example of it, you know, a physical example of it. But I've been participating in a couple of different programs through Lured, and last year I did one through Century, which actually I graduated from Century. I was the first graduating class of Century. So that was interesting. You know, but like they did an entrepreneurial studies class, and they brought in different, you know, entrepreneurs from Rochester to share some expertise. And I mean, the students were really engaged, and they were really interested in learning about these things. So that's been exciting, you know, as well. And so it'll be cool to see what all comes out of this too.
Yeah, it's true. I forgot that Mayo High School does that too.
Yeah.
I don't know if Century does anymore or not.
I think so this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have loved to have got that exposure. All we had was like a marketing club. Like as I get older, I realized how bad my high school was. Like,
maybe it just wasn't. It was a while ago too. Things have changed a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
not that long ago.
That would have been like amazing to even have that, because you just didn't even. Part of it is like exposing that as a path. And I don't think that I recognized that until probably about, honestly, like 6 years ago, that was even a possibility.
Right. 100%. I mean, that is like my story. I mean, so I said I have no business background. My undergraduate degree is in paralegal and English, and my master's degree is in English. Right. So, but I spent a really long time thinking that I needed to have a sit down in front of a desk, punch a clock, work 9 to 5, whatever type of job. And that if I didn't have that somehow made me not successful or not, the right, not normal or whatever, and then once I just really was like, you know what, actually, I really enjoy this sales part. I really enjoy the retail environment. I really enjoy that, developing the community. And there is a way that I can make a living doing this. Once I just kind of got past all of that, that's when I was able to really, take those risks, and focus on, what not only what made me happy, but, doing more, for the community, through owning a business, which is, like I said, is completely new to me,
right.
but
it's really fun.
It is fun. It is fun. Yes. Yeah.
And really rewarding.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I think that's so true though. I think it just depends on your mindset. I feel like there are a lot of people who are like, I have to go in and punch a clock from 9 to 5, and that's just the quote unquote normal route. And if like personally for me, that's like soul crushing to me, just to have to, not that I won't do the work, because I will do the work and beyond, but just someone saying, you've got to sit here,
right?
Whether you're productive or not,
right?
It's kind of a crazy, I think maybe getting a little outdated even in, more traditional work settings, I think it is. Because I'm just thinking of 3M off the top of my head. And I've known a lot of people working there who are more like the engineering types, but like they purposefully let you like pursue, creative outlets and things like that, is my understanding at least. And it's not, that's encouraging that, that's changing. And we have more remote work happening, right. And it's just, it's a different world now, I think.
Yeah. Well, and if you allow people to have some time for creativity and to do things that are a little outside their normal box, you get a lot bigger results and a lot of happier people.
And have that work-life balance, as well too, which is both a lot harder as an entrepreneur, but also easier in some ways. You have
a little more time flexibility, but you're never off.
Exactly.
So it's yes,
that is true.
It's harder and easier.
Yeah, I do find running, though, a great time to listen to podcasts. So I'll queue up a lot of business podcasts and be like just listening as you're going. Because once you have like, I don't know, an hour or 45 minutes or so to sit and listen to something, like never. That's never going to happen.
No. So when you're running, when you're in the car, those are the times.
In the car, yes. Yes, if you have the hands free.
Yes.
Now that's like... But yeah. So we're getting near the end. So it goes pretty fast. So yeah, I'll just ask both of you for any final thoughts and where people can find your businesses, both physically and online, I guess.
Okay. So this is Tiffany again from TerraLoco, and so we are located on 16th Street, 16th Street, Southwest, over by Trader Joe's in that shopping center there. One thing I would just kind of want to just share, I guess, with your listeners is that we are not just a running store. Like I talked about the forward motion, and that's important, but we also carry lifestyle stuff. We try to cater to any and all aspects of our customers' lives. And so I think a lot of people just think of us as a running store, and so we're working really hard to kind of change that mentality, I guess. So and you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. TerraLoco MN is our handle, and then runterraloco.com is our website.
Fantastic. So again, I'm Traci Downs. You can find Collider, a co-working space, is located at 14 4th Street Southwest, downtown in Rochester. It's in the Blue Duck Kitchen building on the top floor, and you're welcome to stop by and get a tour, find out more about how to take and all the things that Collider is doing, as well as the space and getting a desk and staying and joining the community. And Café Steam, we have now 4 locations, but the main location is on Broadway, 315 Broadway, across the street. We also just opened in One Discovery Square and on 2nd Street down by Thesis, or in the same building as Thesis, which is on 2nd Street, and we have one in the Skyway. So, but I think the key thing I would leave people with is that both Collider and Café Steam are focused on connections and meeting people, and whether that's over a cup of coffee or that's in a co-working space or just being part of a community. I think the biggest thing people can do is just to reach out and make those connections, find those collaborations, as Tiffany mentioned, and really contribute and to benefit from this wonderful community that we live in.
Well, thank you both for being here today. I really appreciate your time and your insights.
Oh, thank you so much.
Pleasure to be here.
Thanks to Tiffany and Traci for being on the show today and having this great conversation. Hopefully we've inspired some people to go out for a run, get some coffee, visit these locations in Rochester. So check them out. You can also find links to their websites and to their social media accounts with the show notes that come along with this podcast. And in case you did not know, Entrepreneurship Week is coming up. So Entrepreneurship Week is a 4-day celebration of local ideas and innovators here in Rochester, Minnesota. We have an event that we're hosting or organizing on October 24th called Managing Wellness as an Entrepreneur. This will be held at the Castle community in their community studio on Thursday, October 24th from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. Be sure to get your tickets because it's filling up very quickly and there's limited space. So there will be a link in our show notes to this event. You can also find it on our Facebook page and on Eventbrite. But this is an interactive discussion with a local panel of business owners to understand how they achieve work-life balance. So entrepreneurship is hard. Taking an idea from concept to a minimal viable product or service, managing a team, maintaining cash flow, establishing branding and marketing, it's all a challenge. However, maintaining overall physical and mental wellness while building a business is just as difficult. So join us for this interactive discussion with a local panel of founders to understand how they achieve work-life balance and manage all aspects of entrepreneurship to achieve success. So our panel members will include Jamie Sonsbach, Operations Manager at Collider, Pasquale Presa, owner of Pasquale's Neighborhood Pizzeria, Chris Armstrong, an attorney and yoga instructor, Stacy LaQuire, owner of Vitality Chiropractic, and Ahmed McCowie, who's a UX UI lead at Mayo Clinic, owner of Sahara Fox Creative Agency, and co-founder of Skyworks LLC. This event is hosted by Castle Community and their space, and it's sponsored by Destination Medical Center. So again, check it out. You can find it on our Facebook page, or we'll have links along with our show notes, or we'll have links in our show notes. And be sure to secure your spot today if you can attend, because space is limited, and we hope to see you there. All right, that's a wrap for our podcast today. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast wherever you consume your audio content so that you never miss a story of entrepreneurship or innovation coming out of Rochester, Minnesota. We'll be back here again next Wednesday with a brand new episode.